Hey guys, welcome to the Big Bear Math channel. And today we're going to talk about the slope of a line. And this is one of the most paramount concepts in all of math. This idea of slope is going to carry you all the way up into calculus. So what can we expect to see in tonight's video? This is what we're going to see by the time it's all said and done. We're going to take a look at just say, hey, what if they gave me 2 points like this? Can I find the slope between them? We're also going to get into the more graphical approach and try to visualize it all and see if we can draw a line that passes through a given point and has a given slope. And then we're going to get into some fun parts where we try to solve an equation for y, and by just looking at the equation, try to identify the slope in the y-intercept. So let's see if we can define slope. What is slope? You're going to see a million different definitions out there that all get to the same point when it's all said and done. I like to think of it as a ratio between the line's vertical rise compared to its horizontal run. So when we look at this given picture right here, and we're trying to find the slope of this line right here, here's your vertical rise, okay? And here's your vertical run, and we want the ratio of those two. Notice it's rise over run here. And when it's all said and done, this is probably, if you're really into just formulas, this is the one that you want to attach yourself to. So let's see if we can put that formula to use here. Oh, and real quick, before we move on, I wanted to give a shout out. I thought this was such a great diagram to kind of give us a visual idea. Check out mathwarehouse.com for more examples and more great graphics. They do a really nice job with all their material. So anyway, let's check out this line right here. So we want to find the slope of a line passing through, let's see, -2, -6 is down here, and then +2, +6 is up here. So we're trying to find the slope of this particular line. So let's say if I strictly do it graphically, what I'm really thinking is, okay, here is my rise, and here is, oops, I gotta go down a little further. There we go. And here's my run. So I've got my rise over there. Run. So I can just count the blocks really. And so let's see. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I've got a rise that's equal to 12. And then on the bottom, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks there. So my run is equal to 4. And we know that slope is guaranteed to be rise over run. So 12 divided by 4 makes 3. And again, that's a measure of how steep that line is. And so this is, as you can see, it's a pretty steep one. Now, let's say I wanted to do it totally algebraically or analytically as opposed to graphically. So now I'm thinking, so let's start all over. Let's pretend we don't have a picture. We don't know the answer is 3. The slope is going to be y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So I'm going to take my first point here. The -2 will be my x sub 1, and the -6 will be my y sub 1. And then over here, the +2 will be my x sub 2, and the 6 will be my y sub 2. And you could actually flip-flop those. We're not going to get into that per se, but you can trust me on the fact that you could flip-flop them. You're still going to get the same answer. So we'll substitute the +6 minus, and then the -6. And then we'll substitute the 2 minus the -2. And of course, 2 negatives make a positive. So 6 plus 6 over 2 plus 2. That's going to be 12 over 4. You can see that's what we had earlier. And your final answer is 3. How about that? All right. On this next one, I'm going to skip the graphical part and go right into the analytical part. So again, just going to go in an order. This -1 is going to be my first x, and the 3 will be my first y. 2 is my second x value, and 5 is my second y value. So again, I think it never hurts to just rewrite our formula. I don't think you can go wrong with that step. And so let's substitute the 5 for y sub 2 and the 3 for y sub 1. We'll substitute the 2 for x sub 2 and then the -1 for x sub 1. Notice I'm trying to be real careful with my signs. Now, when I subtract 5 minus 3 to get 2, what that is that represents the vertical change or the change in y. And then when I simplify this expression to get 3, that measures the change in my run or, my change in x. And then this is not simplifiable, I guess, so we'll just call the answer 2/3. So it's definitely it's a positive line that's kind of trending upward, but more gradual than the previous example. Okay, let's see if we could draw a line here with a given point and a given slope. So I'm going to start off by identifying the point on my graph. So that bear is going to sit right about here. There's -5, -3. Now, when they said the slope is 4/5, what they're really telling me is my rise is guaranteed to be 4. My run is guaranteed to be 5. That's the ratio, rise to run. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up 4 blocks, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's my second point. And then I can just continue that pattern where I go up 4, right 5 as many times as I want. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see if I could attempt to draw a line here. Almost got through all 3 points. But instead of going up 4, right 5, you could go down 4, left 5, and you'd fall on that same line. All right, we're shimmying right along. Now, one of the coolest forms of a line is what we call slope-intercept form of a straight line. And basically, in a nutshell, we're taking the equation and we're solving for y. Anytime you solve for y, you isolate that y, you're presenting it in what's called slope-intercept form. And then that coefficient of x, this fun bear right here, that's the coefficient of x. That number is guaranteed to be your slope. And then you have this constant number at the end, then that's guaranteed to be the y-intercept of your line. So as I get into this next example, we're trying to find the slope and the y-intercept without actually graphing it. I'm going to try to solve for y. And in order to do so, I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides of the equation. Those cancel, so I'm left with y equals -3x plus 5. This is now it's in what's called slope-intercept form. Let's see. This coefficient right here is your slope. This constant right here is your y-intercept. So let's say my slope equals -3, my y-intercept equals 5, and that's all there is to it. So that one wasn't too bad. This next one's going to be a little more challenging as far as at least solving for y goes. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract that 4x over. And that's going to leave me with 2y equals -4x plus 1. Remember, I can't combine those two terms together right here because they're not like terms. Now I'm going to divide everybody by 2. And simplifying that gives me y equals -2x plus 1/2. So I'm going to say my slope is -2, and my y-intercept is going to be positive 1/2. And then we're off to the races. So I hope you found something that was helpful tonight. If you like these videos, please hit subscribe below, share them with your friends. And that's all we're trying to do is spread the good word about math, trying to make your job a little easier, take away a little anxiety, and continue to build some confidence. Take it easy.